Good morning, afternoon, or maybe it's even nighttime for you out there, guys. We'll be going over the Raiden Shogun today. A lot of changes, a lot of information out there. I'm gonna tell it to you straight. This is the most complicated character to build with 100% efficiency in Genshin Impact. But we're gonna tackle all that stuff for you guys. We're gonna break it down as easy as possible so you guys get out there and start slaying with the Raiden Shogun. And as always, if you're having fun in this channel, make sure you hit that subscription button, turn the like button on, and join the family. We're growing. Let's get there. Let's have fun together.
If you guys are playing War of the Visions or Brave Exvius and you're not using the Amazon App Store version of the game, there's no reason not to, especially if you're making in-app purchases, because the App Store and Amazon coins are going to save you up to 20%. We're sponsored by Amazon in the App Store today. You can save up to 20%, especially if you use my special promo code down below. I'll have it linked in the description of every video for you guys. And now is a great time to start War of the Visions. Try it out. Final Fantasy VII is here with Aerith, Barrett, Tifa, Cloud, the whole squad. Everyone's here. Get in there, try it out. Reignite your old FF7 memories and let me know how you feel about it down in the comment section below. Now, the Raiden Shogun has a lot of stats that she wants to have access to. She's a support, also sub-burst DPS character. So she's going to be on the field during that duration, that 7 seconds of her Q from her talent. So you need to make her do damage. You cannot just say, hey, Raiden Shogun girl, mono energy recharge, no attack, no crit chance, no crit damage. No, you can't do that. You're going to be losing out on so much potential for this character. So let's talk about stats. First and foremost, we're gonna have to get into the artifacts first here. So Emblem of Severed Fate, this is the set you're aiming for. 2-piece energy recharge, sweet. 4-piece energy recharge gives you elemental burst damage bonus, awesome. So we're in that set, so we need like 400% energy recharge, right? Correct. That is not what we're aiming for. She is purple for a reason, just like my man Thanos. Balance in all things is what we need here, right? Perfectly balanced. So we're aiming for, remember, she's a damage dealer too when she's on the field, so she needs to do competent damage. Attack percent, crit chance, crit damage, energy recharge. She's this giant, what is this, a teeter-totter? She's a giant teeter-totter trying to balance 4 things at the same time. So what we're talking about here, we're looking for a substat split sort of like this. Crit rate 50, 55, 60 if you got super god tier rolled gear. Crit damage 130 to 150 if you can beat that out, awesome. Energy recharge here anywhere from 200 to like 250, and if you can't hit that 250-ish% energy recharge, you may have some difficulties filling up that 90 cost elemental burst of the Raiden Shogun, but it's okay. We'll talk about that too, because we're gonna go into some of the rules for some of the artifact main stats. Now, rule number 1, easy rule, guys. Crit rate circlet. If you don't have a crit rate circlet, your Raiden Shogun probably isn't going to have that super awesome stat split. You're going to be missing out on crit damage or energy recharge or attack percent or something like that. So something that looks like this is very nice, right? You could have something equally rolled. Energy recharge, cool. Crit damage, attack percent, sweet. We like this thing a lot. Could it be better? Sure. This thing's fantastic. It's got that equal balance. It's got all 4 things we want on it, which is awesome there. Now let's talk about the sands in the goblet here. Now this right here, I'm sure you've heard about this 40 different ways from like 90 different people. Okay, so we're gonna break this one down easily for you here. Now there's an easy rule for the goblet here. Is it an attack percent goblet or is it a electro damage goblet? This is a very easy rule. So if you're using Bennett or you're using Kujo Sara, you're gonna have those big attack buffs up during the duration or most of the duration of your ultimate here. Then you are going to be using an electro damage goblet because you'll be adding 800, 900, maybe even like 1,000 attack. You have a big boy Bennett, and that 1,000 attack is going to tip the scales of, I have a lot of attack, now I need more energy elemental damage to bring it back up there. So that's really what you're aiming for there. Very simple rule to follow there. Now the sands here, a little bit more complex. First rule of thumb, if you can't get your energy gauge filled up in time to use it on cooldown, you're using an energy recharge sands. A very easy rule there. The other rule here is technically for every weapon in the game outside of the engulfing lightning, attack percent sands will do more damage. You're looking like 6, 7, 8%, depending on the weapon, more damage there. However, that doesn't matter if you can't fill up your energy gauge to use your elemental burst. So what does this mean? So there is one caveat here where you can kind of, and this is going to let you kind of like have your cake and eat it too at the same time, and that's with the Electro main traveler there, because you are going to be able to fill up your elemental burst gauge with those nice little jade amulets there, and that could be very powerful as well. She also has access to, the Electro main character has access to a 15% electro damage down for 8 seconds, so you can apply that
and then go into elemental burst, and you'll get like 6 seconds of that down as well. So it won't proc on hit during the elemental burst as of right now. There's a whole other shindig there that we're going to talk about at the end of the video, but it is going to last for a good duration. And the Electro Traveler has an 80 cost elemental burst, which can help off with your resolve stacks, which we'll touch on more back when we hit up the party members as well. So that's gonna be the rule there. If you're having a hard time filling up that elemental burst gauge, energy recharge sands all the way. If you are using an Electro Traveler and you want to squeak out just a little bit more damage, attack percent sands. And then ultimately the big rule here between these two as well, if you have one of these with giant super awesome substats and the other one is garbage tier substats, like say you have like an attack percent goblet and it's got the best subsets of all time. It's got like 35 crit damage, energy recharge, crit chance down there. And you're like, oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm not using a buffer, so I should probably use an attack percent one. And then your attack percent one's like flat defense and HP. Yeah, you know which one you're going to be using. The one with the giant super pog substats. That's when you guys are going to be using there. Now for weapons, there's really only going to be 2 contenders. So if you're going for the engulfing lightning, R1, best weapon for her by far, because it's like the Staff of Homa for her there. There is also a good 4-star weapon in the form of the catch, and you guys really need to get out there. This is where you're gonna get it. You're gonna have to fish for it, right? That's the catch, right? Get it, you catch fish, so you whatever. So you're gonna be talking to this girl here. You have to go around and catch a whole ton of fish, and basically she is going to have the catch for you to buy here, and you're gonna have to catch these different fish, and you'll buy the catch right here, and then these vessels, you'll be able to buy 4 of these to get it to R5 here. So you're gonna have to catch all of these fish. And for 4-star weapons, guys, this one is the best one by far. It's just so good. Elemental burst damage up by 32, crit rate by 12%, super awesome. Okay, base attack, energy recharge, super great there. Now there also are some other weapons that you guys can use if they're like R1 that are gonna be slightly worse in the catch, like the death match, right? Or if you get stacks on the Black Cliff, that one's okay only if you get stacks. You have some other 5-star weapons like Staff of Homa, which is fantastic. You have the good old Jade Wing Spear, which is fantastic. Skyward Spine's okay, but if those are all R1, the catch, dude, put the effort into the catch, make it R5. Now for talent priority here, if you're using her strictly as a sub DPS, right, the only things you really need to level is her elemental skill and her elemental burst. The normal attack, unlike someone like Noelle, does not matter during her elemental burst. Her elemental burst has her own multipliers. And then for constellations, really guys, there's 4 constellations that you might want to think about here, and the first 2 are the most important ones. So the C1 here will help you get your resolve stacks faster, makes her more flexible. You can put her in kind of whatever party you want. 20% extra resolve stacks from anyone, and then 80% extra resolve stacks from an Electro character. And then Steelbreaker here ignores 60% of opponent's defense. This is a pretty big one. All right, if you're really in love with the Raiden Shogun here, should you pull for the weapon, the Engulfing Lightning, or should you pull for like C1 and C2? If you were going to open up that wallet, C2 is totally worth it. Ignoring 60% defense is something like a 24, 25, somewhere in that ballpark damage increase versus not having this at all, which is huge. That is a huge amount there. And then C3 is actually pretty good as well, because this actually levels up her elemental burst. So you get 3 extra levels, so you'll be able to get this to plus 13, and this is going to give you extra multipliers on everything she does. And on top of that, it's also going to increase the resolve bonus here, where you can see it 7.39 right now to 1.3. I think at level 13 this would be like 1.54 additional multiplier, which is pretty big as well. So those are the 3 biggest ones there. C4 is okay, 5 and 6 100% not worth it in my opinion. No way, no how, no shape, no form. Now, when it comes to teammates and team members, obviously the Raiden Shogun does a couple of things. She does damage onto the field. She also fills up elemental burst gauges, so that's going to be very good. If you have someone who needs big elemental burst gauge fill up right like Eula, that's going to be awesome for you there. On top of that, Eula is also one of the other people that she works extremely well with, or characters like Eula. So like Kea, maybe using physical DPS Rosaria, you roll that way. Anyone that wants someone to proc electric damage while they're off the field can be utilized with this character, which is a problem that a lot of people have with this character, but we're not going to talk about that right now because we have a couple other characters that kind of fulfill this role. Now, if you want to make her unique, I've built a team around her and I call it the Raw Damage Squad. So you have some sort of shielder, maybe you have Diona in there, Zhongli, whatever it is. Kujo Sara's in here, Bennett as well for the double attack buff, and a Raiden Shogun. Now, there is something that you can do with Kujo Sara that I'll talk about briefly in this video in case you guys are using her. So even though this is more of a Kujo Sara tech than anything else, a lot of guys might have Kujo Sara. So you pop that, you switch over, boom, boom, you get the attack buff, you're good to go. And then you have the charge shot, and then you start the animation before it blows up, and then it refreshes. So that's gonna help you out a little bit. It's gonna give you a little bit of extra second, right? You won't get all 7 seconds, right, of the buff, but you get like almost 6. So this will allow you to activate your elemental burst on Raiden Shogun with the attack buff or maybe even the crit damage buff, and then after the activation the new feather will pop. So this is what it does. You pop this over, come over here, right? You'll use your E, and then you can pop back over. I don't know why I'm getting hit. And then you would just use your elemental burst right now, and by the time your elemental burst is activated, because these have like a 2-second delay on them, right, before they blow up, it'll pop up, give you the attack buff again, and you'll have another 6 seconds of attack buff during your Raiden Shogun's ultimate. So use that if you're using C2 Kujosara in your team. It's not a full uptime thing, but it's still a thing that you can do, and it's very, very, very powerful. So get out there, start slaying, like the video, come with the family, come hang out with us, and I'll see you in the next one.